Shalom Mishpaka, welcome to the series of exposition on the birth of Yahusha, which has not been told for hundreds of years. Now, let us turn to the book of Bereshith 18 from verse 9. I'm not going to recap my previous video. You watch my previous video so that you can be able to flow. Bereshith is Genesis 18 from verse 9. And they said to him, "Where is Sarah your wife?" And he said, "See, in the tent." And he said, "I shall certainly return to you according to the time of life. And see, Sarah your wife is to have a son." And Sarah was listening in the tent door which was behind him. And now Abraham and Sarah were old, well advanced in age, and Sarah was past the way of women. And Sarah laughed within herself, saying, "After I have grown old, shall I have pleasure, my master being old also?" Do you see it? And Yahweh said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh, saying, 'Shall I truly have a child since I'm old?'" This is how Yahweh has always worked from the beginning. And he wanted his own son that has been with him from the foundation of the world to come through the lineage of Abraham, to come through the lineage of David, because of the covenants he's made with them, so that that salvation that he has come to give can be effective. That salvation, this life he has come to give, can be effective, can deliver everyone, both alive and dead, that is a Yahudi, that came through from the lineage of David. Do you understand? If Yahusha's blood, if David's blood is not flowing through his vein, then the salvation is not effective. The salvation, just for example, let me give you a literal example now. Let's assume we are in the olden times where we have to kill our sheep for our sins. Okay, let me ask you this question. And then Yahweh says, when you're bringing your animal to be killed, make sure you bring a perfect animal. He gave specifications for the type of animal to be brought and how you want the animal to look like. Okay, now I want to ask you this question. Can you go and steal somebody's sheep and bring it to the high priest and ask him to kill it for you as a sin offering, and Yahweh will accept the sacrifice? Even if the priest may not know that you stole the sheep from your neighbor from somewhere else, you know that even after sacrificing that sheep, you only made your sin, your condition worse. Because Yahweh knew or knows that you stole it. Do you understand? It cannot work if it's not from you. If it is not yours, it will not work. That is the same thing with Yahusha. If Yahusha did not come to sacrifice himself, sacrificing himself is by leaving the Shamayim alone. So the first sacrifice Yahusha, which is so great, was to leave the place that the streets are paved with gold, a place of shining light, to come to a place of darkness like this, that is filthy and corrupted and with sin, a place that his father had to leave before he killed every single one of the Yahudi that he has called out from Mitzrayim. He had to leave and go back to the Shemayim with his wrath, because they were sinning and he had to be punishing them, killing them at every time. And so if he looked at it and said, "Wow, if I continue this way, these people are stubborn, I would clear them off. It's better I go back to Shemaiah and remain there and send my son later. I'll be sending in Nebiim and then send my son later." The first sacrifice is to leave that beautiful place. It's just like asking someone living in a very beautiful place, or asking a princess to leave a very beautiful place, come and live in the slums for 30 years because of a project. Wouldn't it be forced a pure torture for her to even stay in that condition, in a life that she's not used to adjust to everything? That's the first sacrifice that we need to appreciate. And then he came to show us the name. And then he had to die so that he can minister to those in prison. That's minister to the Yahudim that has already died before he was born, so that he can also expose his name and his father's name to them. And then those that accepted and believed, they resurrected with him. That exposition is for another day. I just digressed a little. So can you see? Now look at with Abraham from the beginning. One thing you see consistent with Yahuwah is that if he tells you you're going to give birth, number one, he only says it to married couple. They must always be married. People will know they are married. Number two, it does not matter whether you're barren or not. You will have that child. If you look at the book of Bereshith, what the conversation with Abraham, I saw Sarah was laughing. So, okay, even if I'm going to get pregnant, am I going to enjoy sleeping with my husband? Will I enjoy it? You know, women that are undergoing menopause, they know that at a certain stage, they don't enjoy it anymore, according to some women, but it shouldn't be so. But whatever it is, and what do they call it? She was saying that first and foremost, she even enjoyed it, and besides, they've been trying for so many years and they've already given up. And you know, the proof that she's given up is when she asked her husband to go and sleep with, take her guy, her maid, to be his wife. Okay, now let's look at the book of Luke, chapter 1. That's Luke 1, verse 18. You can read the whole chapter in your own spare time. I'm just going straight to the point. And Zechariah said to the messenger, "By what shall I know this? For I am old, and my wife is advanced in years." The messenger answering said to him, "I am Gabriel, who stands in the presence of Elohim, and was sent to speak to you and announce to you this good news." Okay, so now look at what he says there. I think I really jumped so far. Now, look at verse 13. Let me start from verse 11. And the messenger of Yahweh appeared to him, standing on the right side of the altar of incense. And when Zechariah saw, he was troubled and fear fell upon him. Now, this is a normal reaction. Do you understand? Most messengers of Yahweh, when they come to anybody, check from Bereshith down to even this Lucas, the first thing they are afraid, the first thing that comes upon them is fear. Even Gideon, when the messenger appeared to him, or everyone that messenger appeared to, except for Abraham that was seeing Yahweh face to face. But other people, the mortals that didn't have that privilege, like Abraham and like Moshe, they were first afraid. And the first thing the messenger will say is, "Fear not." Actually, shalom. Shalom, peace be unto you, or fear not. Do you understand? Now to Mary now is hailing her. Now she become equal with him. Like he should worship her like he worships his Elohim. I want you to see very clearly that there is something off. There is something off in the story. Logically. Think about logic. Forget about what you've been programmed by your Masonic pastors to believe. Anyway, soon the churches now are going to be turned into the mark of the beast centers. Then maybe, I hope that it will not be too late by then, for those that are still believing in the lies of the Masonic pastors and priests. So as I was saying, and then the messenger said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah, for your prayer is heard, and your wife Elisheba shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Johanna." It's very clear. "And you shall have joy and gladness, and many shall rejoice at his birth. For he shall be great before Yahweh, and shall drink no wine and strong drink at all. And he shall be filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, even from his mother's womb." Is it not what I said? The difference between Yahweh's Nabiim, or Nabiim, and the difference between normal people is that from birth they are filled with the Ruach HaKodesh. That child is different from birth. It's the Ruach that makes the difference. Not that the parents will not copulate with each other and the child will just be pregnanted by the Ruach HaKodesh like that. No. The parents are going to meet. Man and wife are going to sleep together, and she's going to get pregnant. Then Yahweh will send his Ruach into the child to make that child Kodesh, and he will give the parents instructions on what to do concerning that child. Now, if you look at for that of Yahusha, you're going to see that everything is off. Look at when Yahweh promises a parent is going to, maybe the person is a deliverer or the person is a Nabiim. You see there are instructions for birth. But Yahusha's own was removed, and some of the major prophets' own was removed. For a reason, to deceive people. I hope with this explanation, because I do not want to keep giving you proof, giving you passages one after the other, one after the other. You look yourself. Look at everyone. I've mentioned Samson. Go and look at the way he was born. I've mentioned Johanna the Emesa in the New Testament. At least one in the Old and one in the New would, at least it should suffice. But there are a lot of others that is been said that we are special children from birth. Even Moshe himself, even though details of his birth was not written, the only thing they wrote is that they could see that he was a different child, was a special child. Because why? What makes the difference between a normal child and a child of Yahweh is the Ruach HaKodesh that dwells in that child from birth, that constrains that person from sinning. That person starts keeping the Torah from birth without even knowing who or he or she is. And that's what makes it easy to identify who the true Yahudims are. From birth, the Ruach HaKodesh should be on the person. The person naturally will have the taste, interest to worship the Creator. Whether he's currently doing it in error or not, there's always something different about that child or that person from birth. That's what makes the difference. Not that your mother will get pregnant of you without sleeping with your father. It doesn't work that way. And that is what authenticates Yahusha's lineage as the offspring of David. Because the blood of David from generation to generation down to his time flows through his vein. And hence his sacrifice is acceptable to Yahuwah because he's not a stolen person. He's not just jumping into the sin. It's the blood that flows through the vein that has redeemed. That's what did they call it? Redeemed the offspring of David, the Yahudim. That blood that flows through his vein that was shed once for all. Once for all. Why was it shed? Because he had to go down to the grave. He had to go down to hell to preach to those that had died before he was born, so that they will also have the same opportunity with those that are living, that are hearing his message during his time, and that I am hearing his message now as I'm teaching it. I hope you understand. I pray that the Ruach HaKodesh interprets this message to you in a way that you understand, and I pray that your heart yearns for Yahuwah, and he answers all your requests and all your questions and reveal himself to you in a way you will understand. Shalom. The next exposition is coming in my next video. Remember.